For more than half a century, Star Trek has been this incredible vision of a hopeful, united future. But what if I told you that its most iconic ideas, the Federation, the Prime Directive, these benevolent alien councils, what if they didn't just come from a writer's imagination? What if they came from somewhere else? Let's dive into the wild, documented story behind the final frontier. You really can't overstate its impact, right? Star Trek gave us this utopian blueprint where humanity finally gets its act together, exploring the galaxy not to conquer it, but just for the sheer joy of discovery and peace. It's a whole philosophy that has inspired actual scientists, engineers, and, well, dreamers like us for generations. Okay, but keep that idea of fiction in your mind for a second, and look at this quote from the mystic Neville Goddard. His whole thing was that our imagination is literally the tool that creates reality. It's a pretty wild thought, isn't it? Well, it sets the stage perfectly for the incredibly strange and undocumented history behind how Star Trek came to be. So, how in the world do these things connect? We're about to get into it. We're going to explore this documented, and I mean really documented, but little-known link between Star Trek's creator, Gene Roddenberry, and a series of pretty mysterious channeling sessions. Now, this isn't some fan theory from a dark corner of the internet. According to the book The Only Planet of Choice, which is basically a collection of transcripts from these channeling sessions, Gene Roddenberry himself was a regular participant. And he wasn't just sitting in the back taking notes, he was asking questions, digging for answers about the very fabric of the universe. And just look at the kind of questions he was asking. Extraterrestrial civilizations, non-interference policies, advanced societies. Does any of that sound, a little familiar? It's practically the mission briefing for the Starship Enterprise. The stuff he was exploring in these sessions is a dead ringer for the universe he was creating on television. So the big question is, who, or maybe what, was on the other end of that cosmic phone call? Well, the source material is very, very specific about this. Roddenberry was apparently speaking with an entity that was a conduit for a group calling itself the Council of Nine. Just the number 9. Simple, right? But according to this channeled material, that single digit represents a huge cosmic governing body, one with a profound influence over the destiny of our entire solar system. And according to sources like the Law of One material, the Council of Nine isn't just some committee. They're described as a collective consciousness, kind of like a single unified mind that exists in a higher dimension. And get this, their home base is supposedly within the rings of Saturn, where they act as the designated guardians for our little corner of the galaxy. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting because the parallels just jump right off the page. The Council of Nine, it's a group of 9 backed up by 24 other guardian civilizations. The Federation, an alliance of member planets. The Council's core mission, to protect free will by not interfering. Star Trek's highest law, the Prime Directive. The Council sees Earth as being under a protective quarantine. The Federation watches pre-warp civilizations from a safe distance. The similarities are they're uncanny. But you have to ask, why would a planet like Earth even need guardians in the first place? Why the quarantine? Well, according to this lore, it's because our cosmic neighborhood has a really, really violent past. Yeah, the story told in these channeled texts is not one of peaceful, steady evolution. It's a history of epic cosmic wars that raged from Mars all the way to ancient Atlantis. It's a story of planetary destruction and technological mistakes so bad, they literally tore holes in space-time. It got so chaotic that an outside group had to step in just to stabilize the whole system. And this timeline here, which is based on sources like Junvala Melchizedek, it just lays out this chaotic history perfectly. So the story goes, it all starts a million years ago, when the Martians destroyed their own atmosphere, and a few survivors managed to escape to Earth. For thousands of years after that, these Martian survivors were locked in a battle with the advanced civilization of Atlantis for control of the planet. Then came the Great Fall. A Martian experiment to create a synthetic energy field went horribly wrong, ripping a hole in space-time. Some people even linked this event to the Bermuda Triangle. And as if that wasn't enough, a massive comet impact caused the Great Flood, wiping almost everyone out. It was only after all this chaos and destruction that the Council of Nine finally stepped in, putting Earth under quarantine to protect what was left and stabilize what they called a failed solar system. So this whole idea of cosmic oversight, it actually builds into an even bigger framework. Beyond just a council for our little system, some sources describe a kind of universal constitution that governs the entire galaxy. And this is known as the Galactic Codex. You can think of it like a universal set of laws, a code of ethics designed to ensure harmony and protect the rights of every living being out there. And it's apparently enforced by something called the Galactic Confederation. So what's really important to get here is that this codex is presented as more than just a nice idea. It's a binding legal system. Section I guarantees everyone the right to a positive life. Section 2 says that benevolent forces have to step in and mediate conflicts. Section 3 is like a cosmic justice system. Violators get a chance to change their ways, or they face being restructured. And then there's Section 4, and this is the real kicker. It establishes the law of intervention, which is the right to step in, with force if necessary, when the codex is seriously violated. And this is where it gets super specific about our planet. Sources that talk about the Galactic Codex claim that the reason we haven't seen open contact isn't just about respecting our free will. No, it describes Earth as being in a hostage situation where the threat of nuclear self-destruction by negative forces on the planet has basically prevented any direct positive intervention. Which, of course, brings us right back to where we started. Is Star Trek just a brilliant, imaginative piece of science fiction, or could it be something more? Could it be a form of soft disclosure, a way of slowly getting us ready for a much bigger reality? I mean, when you put them side by side like this, the parallels are they're really striking. The United Federation of Planets and the Galactic Confederation, the Prime Directive and the Law of Non-Interference, the whole vision of a utopian future for humanity, and the concept of humanity's spiritual ascension, even the focus on non-lethal defense, the core concepts echo each other almost perfectly. And there's actually a term for this idea. Soft disclosure. It's the theory that instead of some sudden, shocking UFO landing on the White House lawn, humanity is being gently introduced to these cosmic truths through our own stories, through our pop culture, planting these little seeds of understanding in our collective mind. So in the end, we're left with this really fascinating question. Is Star Trek's beautiful, optimistic vision of the future just a story we tell ourselves, a blueprint for what we hope we can one day become? Or could it be what these sources suggest, a reflection of a reality that's already out there, a kind of memory of a cosmic society that we just haven't rejoined yet? The answer, it seems, is still out there.